everyone. I'm Kim Graves. This is Jessica Ausbrook. We're from Solidarity Community Federal Credit Union, and this is the Ripple Effect.
Yes, it is.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
Kim was making me laugh before they turned on the video, so
I can't ask myself.
very clear that.
You know what? We have some special people here today.
This is going to be a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, it's near and dear to our hearts, and we have lots of great questions, and so
You got the funeral directors in the house.
I know I'm gonna I was looking for Kleenexes, and I have a sleeve. We're good.
We have Jeff with us. Jeff Jr., right?
Yes,
And you're from Stout and Sons.
correct.
Okay, so we have a lot to talk about. You guys have a big anniversary coming up this year, right?
We actually just had it last October.
Okay, so you had a big anniversary last year, right? That's a long time.
How many?
135 years.
What?
Yeah.
135 years, and it was started by?
It was started by, let me think how many greats. That'd be great grandfather Albert Stout. He was a carpenter, furniture maker, and then in 1890, which was 30 years after the Civil War, the death movement started to happen, where people started to have funerals, and so his son came in with him on it probably 10 years later in 1900, but started doing furniture making and casket construction out of his house just north of Rocheville. And then it wasn't till I think it was 1898, give or take a couple of years.
We're not going to quote you.
Yeah, thank you.
He said furniture making, so he's making a coffee table and a casket.
I wanted to say furniture maker and an undertaker, but I don't think that.
Yeah.
Eventually became, at that time, a lot more people referred to it as an undertaker.
Yeah,
but yeah.
That's true, though. Yeah.
But yeah, started the business in officially 1890, and brought in his son Wallace. Wallace later had two sons. His first wife had passed, so they were half brothers. But Albert Burrell and Kennard Reagan. Kennard was our great grandfather.
Okay.
And then Kennard had. Keep in mind, with all the ones that we consider official generations, they still had some kids that maybe came into it but didn't stay with it. But our dad, Jeff Stout, started following Kennard around at 12 years old. And when we asked our dad, he knew at 12 years old, I'm going to be a funeral director. This is what I want to do. And so, yeah, here we are. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Incredible.
How many siblings do you have?
There's five of us. We have it's Jake and I, and then we have three sisters.
And who's the favorite?
Jake's the favorite.
Okay.
He's the baby and the favorite.
He owned it.
He's definitely the baby.
Which we'll be speaking with Jake here. Did you ever think that you would be doing
I did for a long time.
Doing the family?
And life's funny. I went away. I was going to go to the military, no questions asked. After I kind of drifted away from this, and then I went to the University of Indianapolis for a couple years, where I pole vaulted and walked on the football team. Did some different internships in some other various fields. They didn't really pan out how I thought they would. And then one night I was pulling an all-nighter, and I was just spoken to, and it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. I called the funeral home line, which my dad answers 24/7. I was like, hey, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish out this year and come home and work for you and go into the family business. So
I bet that made him really happy.
Oh man, he said he stared at the ceiling the rest of the night and went straight into work. But
I knew your dad is a wonderful man.
Yes, but finished mortuary school online with the credits I had already accrued, and worked for dad and got into coaching on the side, coaching football. So
What is mortuary school?
Mortuary school is a 2-year degree. But there's a lot of different facets to it, of psychology, of course, the embalming portion of it. There's cosmetics, there's some law with it. There's kind of there was an accounting class that I took. There's kind of a whole array of things, because there's there's big corporations, there's bigger outfits, but there's also mom and paw shops, which we, used to be.
I think you might still be considered that.
Well, and I like that too, and I think Jake will say the same. But as far as for a lot of years, my mom and dad, they were a one-man show. They did all of that. We've
Did everything.
Did everything. Mom kept the books, and our mom was actually also a licensed funeral director for 25 years. So
That's interesting.
but yeah, we have 5 locations: Kokomo, Rushville, Burlington, Sharpsville, and Rushville, and we've got about a total of 75, 80 staff.
Oh, wow.
Collectively, with all of our,
Wow.
we have a lot of part-time staff too that work the services and whatnot. But
So they don't only do just funerals. There's another part that you do as well, which has been very helpful to me because I just recently lost a pet.
yes,
So, which is amazing that you do this service because I've actually did this twice. When I lost my pet and I took her to the vet, they said, we'll take care of everything. Don't worry about it. And then at one point I was like, wait, what do you mean? Because, I want her cremated. And you said, they said, we'll take care of it. And so then everything was turned over to you.
yes. So there's a handful of local vet clinics that we're partnered with where we handle their pet cremation. We do have an on-site crematory in Kokomo where we have a human, what's called a human retort and a pet retort, separate, of course. But yes, the people are very near and dear to their pets. And Dad, a combination of Bill Shirley and Matt Greek, who actually had a lot to do with, along with my Uncle Marty, which I haven't even touched on, my aunt and uncle, which I'll get into here in a minute as well. But 2009 was when we started that, and it's just been a great service to people. And we have a lot of different interactions with families and responses when we hand them a loved one back, and we're more likely to have a little bit more of an emotional response when we hand someone their pet back. Sometimes as opposed to mom or dad or something. But
I remember the first pet that I lost, which his name was Buddy. Well, his middle name was Wiser.
But
I'm not going to say anymore, but that was his real name. And so
you are awesome.
it was just, that was his middle name. And so I remember I took him to Jefferson Road and then they took care of everything. But I went to Stouts and I picked out what I wanted. Not that, I let them do it, but I just thought this is kind of important and I want to make sure that he has the right thing. And because his name was Buddy Wiser. And so I went there.
get that in again.
I know. So I went there and they were so helpful. I mean, they just, I did a special cherry box and everything was just perfect. So yeah,
Awesome.
I loved it. So the next one that I had was just recent and Tri-County took care of everything. I didn't have to do anything at all. And it was awesome.
Good. And I think that's a lot of our why, whether it's on the pet side or the human side, is we're here to kind of take as much off a family's plate. Unfortunately, life doesn't stop for anyone. So it's a service-based organization, and we're here to try and take as much off of a family's plate as they'll allow us to, so that they can go through the grieving process with as little to do as possible. So
doesn't that make it harder on you? I mean, just in general, doesn't that, you have to be a special gifted person to be able to deal with
it's
And you probably know a lot of people.
Yeah.
Who passed.
yes. And I think that makes it, easy. There's pros and cons to knowing the person or not. And Jake's got a really cool story we were talking about on the way here. He'll share kind of the knowing of a lot of people, having a lot of acquaintances, being intertwined in people's lives. And I'll kind of leave it there. There's just multiple times we can serve a family in a short amount of time. And he has a really cool story with that. But the story I'll tell with that is, as far as having a lot of acquaintances, is I tell people, I meet anywhere from 1 to 19 new people every day. And,
Okay, I wondered how many.
and 19 came from, there was a Forrest family. It took care of their mother back in 2020. It was just after Dad's passing. And I walk into the arrangement room and there's 8 kids. There's their spouses and a couple grandkids. And there's 19 people around this table. And
this is just for like the first introductory meeting?
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
I kind of love that.
And so trying to manage a room of 19 people, and where it can still be a place of collaboration, but also move along accordingly, can be a challenge sometimes. But it's really cool to meet new people every day. Everybody's like, you have a lot of friends. It's like, I have a lot of acquaintances, but it's really cool being able to help people in the community, and then running into them later at the grocery store or
and a happier environment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they'll never forget what you did for them.
And we'll never forget them trusting us with their loved one too. That means the world to us, especially with, there's bad apples in every field. Hollywood doesn't do this field any justice
Not
of
at all.
what actually takes place, and you only see the bad headlines, but no, it's a very rewarding field. So
I've always said that when somebody passed away, I always wish there would be a checklist of what I should do, because my mind is not focused on everything that I should do. My mind is going in different directions.
Yeah, you're sad.
And you're sad and you're not focused. And I know that there is information that funeral homes offer. And at the time when you walk in, there's packets and things of that such, but you're just like, you're going in so many different directions.
And everybody heals differently. So there's sometimes you get a busybody type personality where like, I got to do this. And we're here to try and be that warm, calming voice of like, we will get to that. Like, let's focus on this part. It's our job to kind of reel people back in, meaning where mentally, where their mind can be of the checklist of everything they have to do. And that's what we do, is we just walk through that whole process with them.
2 or 3 people in there and one's mind is going crazy and one's is thinking something different.
Yeah.
Right.
Trying to get everybody on the same page. And yeah.
It's a funny story. And I know I have to tell you this story. I always have a funny story. So my father passed away in 1993. And when he passed away, we had already went and made all the arrangements. And one thing that was kind of important to me was that the casket that we put him in was comfortable. You know what's coming. I wanted to make sure it was comfortable. So, of course, I had my brother and sister there with me, and I'm like, we're not going to put him in anything that's not comfortable. We have to make sure. They're like,
gotta get
all
that
right.
point across.
Yeah, get in there. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go check it out. So I, of course, jump in and make sure that, it's going to be comfortable for him. Because if not,
Did not jump in.
I did.
Which funeral were you at when you do that?
I just
Snuck in there.
I did.
Probably don't want to know.
I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. But we need some more padding in here. We need to make sure. And then I jumped right back out. But I'm just like, you know what? But I'm not going to tell you what else I did while we were. But I thought that was pretty cool that I was able to make sure that made me feel better that he was going to rest. It was comforting. It made me feel better.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that. Good,
awesome.
Good answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so when you went to school to be a funeral director, we talked about the different things that you have to do when it comes to planning the service, but the emotional component of it all, because I mean that's probably the biggest thing. People are dealing with really hard stuff when you meet them.
Worst day of their life, more often than not. And that's something we try to convey to the staff, because I don't care what you do, you're going to have bad days. And, our staff at the funeral, we personally have bad days, maybe what's going on at home or a various amount of things, but it's like, you are not having a worse day than the people that are walking in these doors. Yeah. And I think that always gets people back to square one of, hey, we have a job to do. Let's go do it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, I honestly think you have the toughest job.
I might disagree with that.
You might feel blessed about it.
Well, you feel good after helping somebody.
Like I said, it's very rewarding. And, you know, I don't know if there's a lot of things that we couldn't do today. My wife was a kindergarten teacher for a few years at the first part of our marriage, and she'd tell me stories, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, we're never going to have children. Like, she's not going to just 25 5-year-olds all to herself and no teacher's aide. And I was like, oh man, but no, we're very blessed.
That's funny.
I love that. All right, we're gonna keep going. We have Jake that's going to be joining us coming up here in just a few seconds to talk a little bit more about Stout and Sons Funeral Home. Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
Doing
you.
great,
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Thank you.
And we're back with Jake from Stout and Son Funeral Homes. Welcome, Jake. We're so happy to have you.
Good morning, ladies. Thanks for having
The
me.
favorite, right?
The favorite.
I heard he was a favorite. Is that right?
It's fun because we get to interview him separately.
Yeah.
And the one that is not on the microphone can only sit back and smile. So this is fun.
I just had to sit through it, so now it's Jeff's turn. So
Do you feel like you're the favorite?
I tell everybody that. I'm hoping it will catch
Babies
on.
always do. Yeah. We're trying it for...
I tell everybody, I said it took my parents 5 times to get it right, and then they decided to stop having children. So
Sounds like my
Yeah, because you are
said the exact same thing.
I bet there's a big debate when you guys all get together for dinner and stuff like that.
we trade off.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
we do, sometimes we let it rest. But
So, Jake, you seem so young, and you really do. And I don't mean that in an offensive way. I mean that, like, you look at you, you're dressed in a suit, but you're so young. But you've been in this business for a long time, whether you've been a funeral director or not. And it's a family business. And I know you guys have some family members who have been so great about helping you out through some of the challenges and the harder times.
exactly. So my brother and I, we started following my dad around. I mean, we were knee high. He had us over at the funeral home, greeting people, working visitations. We'd set up chairs for the funeral, sweep the chapel. I mean, at a very young age, have several memories growing up, and a lot of funeral home owner children can even attest to maybe playing hide and seek in the funeral home chapel.
Wow.
Everything like that. So our childhood, that was always a part of who we were, who our family was, what we did. As we grew older, I started working for my dad in high school on the weekends and through the summers and things. Kind of got to see more of the business side, more of him working with people, helping people. In the early 2000s was when we went from our original funeral home location in Rusheville,
Okay.
where he started making partnerships and relationships with some other funeral home owner families in and around Kokomo. And that's where he made some of the business partnerships that has grown Stouts to what it is today. Back in 2020, early 2020, this was February, our dad, Jeff Stout, suffered a massive stroke, passed away a few days later. And one of the first people that really stepped up were our Uncle Marty and our Aunt Bev, my brother's dad. Marty has worked for us at Stout since 2011. But I mean, we all had to grow up overnight when he passed away, because he was just that much of a figure in our family business and around the community. So they stepped up. They helped us immensely. A month later, March of 2020, everyone knows COVID-19 pandemic hits.
Yeah.
So from my brother and I and us at Stouts, our entire team, we go from running the business, learning how to do funerals without Jeff Stout here, to overnight COVID hits, we're shut down. We're limited on the number of people that can attend their loved one's funeral service.
That's hard.
We're wearing
Was there really stipulations then?
There had to be, right?
at the very the worst of it, we were limited to 10 people.
Really?
So we sat down with a family of 6 kids, and the 6 kids and all their spouses could not attend their parents' service at the same time. They had a list. I think Jeff was in charge of helping that family. They had a list and a rotation of set times with all the grandkids
Oh, wow.
to go in and see Grandpa. And
That wouldn't fly with my family.
Glad we don't have that anymore.
we're
Yeah.
very glad we're beyond that. We're so thankful when everything opened back up that, so much of what we do centers around having the support of all your friends and family on your worst days. So for us to help people through that, we had to be really creative thinkers.
Right. Right.
You have to be very compassionate and empathetic too.
And thank goodness for family. I mean, they stepped up. They helped you get through that time. I mean, they were there to support you. They were there to show you through the business and made you all what you are.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, your dad is looking down and he's very proud of you.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
He taught us a lot more than maybe my brother and I gave him credit for. But since he's been gone, we've had a few aha moments of
Dad was right.
Dad was right. Maybe he didn't explain it in this manner, but when we lived it, when we went through the same thing, it all made a lot more sense to us. And so much of what we do at its core is if you treat people the right way, you love people the right way, normally everything else falls into place. Or if you keep that the priority.
Do you have any good stories for us?
What kind of stories?
Okay. I feel like we have a few stories we're going to tell, but not Kim. Kim, you can't tell any more stories.
No,
I won't.
cut off.
What's the funniest funeral like arrangement or silly thing that someone has ever done?
Oh gosh.
Because I have a full list for
good
my
question.
friends. It'd be like, I want to do this. I want everybody to have to go around the room and
That's a good
introduce
question.
themselves and tell a fun fact. Yeah. I had to do it.
Would you really want me to do that about you?
Yeah, I want it to be fun and crazy, and I want it to be a celebration.
So
Like I would set a bar and
the
a
night
band up at mine. Yeah.
All right.
done funerals in a barn before.
Yeah.
See,
That at
you
the
could do
Forest
that.
Fairgrounds. That's one of the most common questions that we get. More so, what's the most off the wall thing that you get? I don't know that I could share that, and if I did, I don't even know which story would come to my head right now, but there's so many funerals today, celebration of life's everything. They're a lot more lighthearted than what people expect. Yes, there's tragedies. Yes, there's awful situations.
Right.
Everyone handles it and carries it differently. But when people tell me, they go, I don't understand how you do this every day. What I tell people is, people, they're using humor to get through it themselves. They've been up for days or weeks on end, so they're slap happy. So you meet them where they're at.
Right.
You kind of feel the situation out, and more people appreciate if it is appropriate for humor to help them through that. So I don't know that I have a funny story per se, but if I do, I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
And I know one thing that kind of concerns a lot of people is the cost of a funeral. That is a big deal. Now, I know my mother she passed away, and it'll be a year in May. And one thing that we came across, my mom always said, everything's paid for, everything's paid for. And then by the time that we got there, we found out that everything wasn't paid for. So I know other people come up on these challenges, and it's concerning. It's concerning to the family, and the loved ones think that they've got it taken care of. So how do you help in that situation?
So I think that part of it lies in a little bit of a misunderstanding that, funerals don't have to cost upwards of $15,000, $20,000, $25,000. One of the best things I think that we do at Stouts that we learn from those before us, one of our biggest responsibilities is to watch out for the family's finances that's sitting up and, sitting with us in front of us. We don't want to add the pressure, the stressor of the financial side on top of the grief of losing their loved one. So what we do, we're trained to ask a series of questions to guide people, a family through what they want. There's some different federal programs sometimes that people qualify for financial help that we look into. If a man or woman was a veteran, there's national cemeteries where someone would qualify for free grave spaces, free vaults, the cost to open and close the grave. Something that we pride ourselves in is just working with people financially. We come to the table and it's more so a game plan and a timeline of where it's coming from, of once again, just not putting them in a spot with a giant bill that would take them years to pay off.
Forever to pay off.
So there are different resources like that. Something that we do at Stouts as well that is becoming a little bit more common is, accepting contributions to the funeral home to offset the cost. If there are, life insurance policies, if there are no other resources like that, that's a big way that people can show up for the family, is if they're willing and able to help pitch in on the finances is a big part
That's a
of
great
what we do.
idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great idea.
I have heard on so many occasions about the compassion and the care you have shown from people top to bottom, super going crazy for a funeral and maybe not able to do the same thing. And it is the exact same response from everybody.
Right.
Dignity, respect. It was great. You say that about a funeral, but it was smooth. All of the ones we've been to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. It's we've have an incredible team of people. I think Jeff mentioned 75 to 80 on our entire team, between full-time staff, part-time guys and gals that they work the funeral services or memorial services. And it like, top to bottom, there's so many people that pitch in on one family's experience of working with us from A to Z. So we try to tell them as much as we can how grateful we are to them for what they do, how they represent us, and I'm sure it's still not enough.
They even had a spare rosary for me when I went to a service. I'm like, uh-oh, I don't even think I own one anymore.
We got you.
They had me covered.
They
for
had
sure.
you covered.
They did. Yeah, they absolutely did. We talked about your Uncle Marty and Aunt Bev, and we know that there are some other special stories that you want to share about Stout and Sons and maybe the families that you've served.
Sure. There's one family in particular. There's times, so I got licensed back in 2020. There's times that we've served the same family multiple times. One in particular I'm thinking of, there's maybe 6 or 7 people in the same family over the last 6 years. So we get brought in on a lot of family reunions at people's weddings, at funerals.
Wow.
So to kind of be intertwined in their lives is one of the special things for us. I'll try not to make this confusing with kind of the relationships of people that had passed here, but there was a gentleman that passed away. Later that year, his son came to me. He had terminal cancer, so he wanted to plan his services out ahead of time. So I got to meet with them for that. At the first gentleman's funeral, he finds out someone in the family is pregnant. Just had the announcement, there's a baby on the way. When the second man that pre-planned his funeral, he passed away a few months after he came into plan with me. I see the family again, and mom's got a big baby bump this time. So about a year after that, the wife of the second man that passed away came in. She wanted to pre-plan her things. So I see a baby in a carrier.
Yay.
And then shortly after that, they live in the same neighborhood as my sisters. So pulling in the neighborhood, I see this family. There's a young child on a bike. So to quite literally like be intertwined in this family with this individual case, from the pregnancy announcement, mom's pregnant, baby's born, and that's something that we get brought in on. We have the opportunity to get brought in on every single day. Jeff mentioned, sometimes we meet 1 to 10 people every single day. And what keeps me going sometimes, you check yourself to know that the family sitting across from you is having a worse time. But I know kind of the opportunity that I have to have such an impact on creating a better experience for some of the worst times for a family.
Because you're there to make it better for them. Yeah.
Try to take on as much of the burden. And, you talked about the checklist of what you're supposed to do, and the funeral director is your checklist. They'll walk you through all the right questions. Some of it does fall on you. Come up with pictures, clothing, things like that.
Can't do that for us.
Yeah.
So we spell out what we need you to do. We talk to the families about what we're going to take care of. There's all the follow-up with Social Security benefits, veterans benefits. One of the awesome programs that we have at Stouts that I think kind of helps set us apart too is our grief program. Every individual, their family, that they call on us, a few months after the fact, we're the ones calling on the main contact, checking in on them, seeing how they're doing.
That's really.
We host grief groups at some of our funeral homes and other locations. Just the wave of mental health. I think grief is a huge part of it that people really don't understand or take into account of maybe what people turn to sometimes after the loss of a loved one. And, Stouts is there to check up on you and get you through it.
I think that's amazing that you guys are offering that.
And we have been, honestly, for I think about 15 years now, give or take. Something maybe we don't even advertise, but it's just something that we do, something that Stouts was a part of bringing together, because we saw the benefit of, you know, being with the family long after the funeral's over with is why we do it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the house becomes quiet.
Sure.
Everybody's gone. Everybody's gone. All the families traveled away that all came there. And so you're there. You have time to think about it, and you're grieving more. So now, why not go to the group and, you know, follow up? I mean, I think it's great. I think it's great that you're doing that.
I've had the opportunity, some of these families that I've known, they've even called on me to officiate their loved ones, maybe their graveside service or the funeral service sometimes. And one of the things I do, you know, we carry our phones around with us 24/7. I challenge everybody sometimes, you know, pull your phone out, set a reminder on your phone 3 months, 6 months, 9 months from now, and call on this family, check on them, because they need you long after today.
I think that's why he's the favorite.
I mean, maybe.
Just saying.
I think so too. You guys are making me cry. I know. It's a hard thing. I mean, you guys, again, they're like healthcare providers. Like, you see everybody on their worst day, and you're so nice and sweet. So it's nice to know that if something bad happens, that we're going to be okay, because we have you guys.
All Stouts.
Do you have somebody that comes out, like if I call and say, hey, I want to plan my funeral, do you have somebody that will come out to my home and meet with me so that I don't have to come there? Or, you know.
So Stephanie Sanborn Brutus, she was a part of the Sanborn family on the sporting goods store here in Cookeville years ago.
I know Steph.
So her and my dad, they had conversations of her coming on the Stout team just a few months before he passed. After his untimely death, we ran into her, very humbly had the conversations of, you know, not that Jeff Stout promised me this, but we had these talks, and we said, who better to bring on our team with the best personality, just the heart to set people up, to try to, once again, alleviate all the burden when someone does pass. You know, she'll go to nursing homes, she'll go out to the residents. There's been times, you know, the funeral director, even when the death occurs, maybe the surviving spouse is wheelchair bound or not very mobile. Sometimes the funeral director goes to the house to plan everything out when the death does occur. So we definitely do provide that.
I mean, Stephanie is an amazing person to do that. She really is. So if somebody wants, I'm not saying that everybody, you know, we've all got to plan for this in our future. I mean, I've already planned all my stuff.
It's
just because
it's kind to your family.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, I want my decisions made. I mean, I want that band in the corner and a bar over there, and I don't want them.
Has different duties.
Yeah, everybody's got their different duties, and I don't want them to have to worry about it when there's, you know, when they're too busy taking care of everything else. So I think by planning that in advance, I think it helps them.
Oh yeah.
I think it's less pressure off of my family.
It's a huge benefit, and it's a middle ground for us to preach and educate the importance of it without also forcing it upon people. You know, we're trained and we're skilled to do both, whether someone has zero planning done ahead of time or if someone's made every decision up until their passing. We're skilled to do both, but I see it on an everyday basis. You know, people are plagued with decisions if nothing has been done ahead of time. If people are able to take care of the finances ahead of time, we already talked about how much of a stressor that can put on a family. I advocate for it because I've started planning my own funeral. I've put in what I need to start the funeral trust so that when I pass away one day, it would pitch in to pay for my service. Another huge benefit of it that people don't always think about or consider is, sadly, sometimes we deal with people when there's family conflict.
Oh yeah.
If someone does the footwork to make the decisions ahead of time and pay for it, that limits maybe any discourse or disagreement when that does occur. So that's a huge point that people always don't think about or consider.
It's easier for you guys too.
So who can we?
It's true.
Who would they call if they have any questions at all? Like if they want to do pre-planning or if they just want to ask you questions, what phone number would they call?
Our central location would be the one in Kokomo on Jefferson, or excuse me. Our central location is in Kokomo on Lincoln Road. The number is 765-453-4400. They can ask for Stephanie. They can ask for one of us funeral directors. People are curious. People are maybe uninformed or misinformed. That's one of our responsibilities as well, to field all their questions, answer everything we can, try to set them up and create comfort for when that time should come.
Well, you're doing a great job.
I think you're doing fantastic. Yeah.
Appreciate
Good job, guys. Good job.
We appreciate you both joining us today.
I appreciate you.
I feel like we talked for like 3 more hours. We definitely could. You better not.
I could tell you all kinds of stories, but I won't.
Those will be ones we tell off. Well, we might talk for 3 more hours. We're just not going to record it this time. Thank you both, Jeff and Jake, so much for joining us today from Stout and Sons.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
That'll do it for The Ripple Effect. I'm Jessica. This is Kim. We're from Solidarity Community Federal Credit Union. Thanks for watching.